Hey there everyone, Atesh here, back again with another video, and in this video we're going to talk about the state and binding. And I know in the previous video I told you that we are going to be working on the login UI. That's exactly what we are doing, but we need to understand a few concepts in order to create that project. So throughout the course, you're going to notice this same pattern that we need to build something big. And in order to build that something big, we need to learn some smaller concept. And this technique is basically known as learn it on the go. Apple also recommend the same technique in their documentation. The flow is exactly the same. So in order to create that big login app, we need to understand a few things, including how the stack work, the Z stack, V stack, and the horizontal stack that we will do later on. But another concept that you're going to see is the stack, this state and the binding. So we need to first nail it down. We need to understand why we are using it and how we can use it on the very basic and minimalistic scale. And then we're going to use the same concept in our login app. So I hope you are all excited. This video can be a little bit longer because I want to finish this up in just one video. That is very essential. Breaking down the state and the binding in a separate video can create a nightmare. I don't want to do that. I want to still keep things absolutely simple and understandable. So let's go ahead and create a new project. I'm going to choose the iOS View app, a single page application, which is more than enough for us in this case. Just click on the next, and I'm going to call this as simply state and binding. Yeah, let's just leave it state and binding. That's pretty much it. I am sometimes terrible in naming the stuff, so I'll just keep it there. And I'm going to just create that up here. So let's just go ahead and create that up here. And there we go. So we have a nice application. I'm going to use a little bit more of the real estate up here. We'll shrink down this guy. And not 100%, less than 100% is absolutely fine. Let's try to run this on iPhone 11, and I guess it should be absolutely will succeed. But this machine is actually ridiculously fast. Where is my simulator? There we go. So this is our simulator. Okay, so far this is a very basic app. We have already drilled it down in the previous video. So let's go ahead and directly talk about the state and the binding process. First and foremost, I want to go up here. Inside the text, I really don't like. I can actually bump it up a little bit more. There we go. So inside of this text, I really don't like this hello world, so I'm going to remove that. Rather, I would like to keep a stack here. So I'm going to be using a V stack. I will discuss this later on in the videos. What is this V stack, H stack, and the Z stack? Right now, we want just a V stack and a pair of parentheses. Inside that, I want to have a simple text, and make sure you put a parenthesis after that. And inside that, I'm going to use a string. Inside the string, I'm going to press my Command, Control, and Space, which gives me my amazing emoji library. And I'm going to use an emoji, specifically an emoji which is an upside down emoji. Now, you definitely can use anything else as well, but I think this is going to be a fantastic one. Now, definitely want to bump the font up. So we are going to simply say, I want a font. And I want to use a system setting. So I'm going to go ahead and simply say dot system. And in the system, I want to bump the font to a size of, let's just say 150. I'm not measuring it up, just eyeballing the stuff. So let's just say, go ahead and simply run this up. Since my simulator is decently fast, we are going to just go for that. Pretty okay. No big deal. No big deal. Now let's just say, what is the goal? We want to create a simple button, and by clicking on that button, we need the toggle to happen. So we're going to change this smiley into a smiley which is not upside down. So that's basically what we want to do. Now, in order to do so, we need a few new variables, which you probably are going to hear for the first time, even if you have done the development in iOS 12 as well. This is fairly a new concept in iOS 13. The first thing that we are going to have is a state. So let's go ahead and declare that. So state, all the state type of variable needs to have a prefix with them with @state. Mind that the S is capital in the state. So let's just go ahead and get that. And then we're going to simply create our regular variable. So let's just call this as is upside, and we're going to name this as simply a type of Boolean. And the initial value is going to be true. Now feel free to have any initial value, it doesn't really matter. So why we are not creating a regular variable? Why we are creating a variable with the type of state? Now in iOS 13, especially in the swiftUI, whenever a variable is being defined as @state, that means if this is changing, that means there is some changes that are going to happen. And if those changes are happening, I want to re-render the entire UI for that. Not entirely the UI is going to be rendered up. Wherever the view is being affected by this state, smartly iOS actually re-renders that particular view only. And this is a great because your application becomes more fast, or I can just say faster than the previous ones. So state is an important one. You surely can still declare your regular variables. There is no issue in that. But if something is actually changing some stuff into your UI, then it's highly recommended that you actually put a @state on that. So you got it. Pretty simple one. State is being used whenever you want to re-render any UI element. So that is all clear up. Now let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, first and foremost, in the first half of this, we are not going to be using binding because that's how I can tell you why the binding is being needed first and foremost. So what we're going to do up here is we're going to get up a simple button for ourselves. Now, how do we put a button? This is going to be a simple reminder for you. So just after when the text is ended up, I want to have a button here. So let's quickly go ahead and have a button. Oops, if I can write that correct. There we go. We have a button. Make sure you don't get a button style. We want just the button up here. Button has two parts. So this is the action part and this is the text part. In the text part, I'm going to simply go ahead and use the text element that simply is going to say a string, which is going to be say click me. Clicky me? Yeah, clicky me is also fine. But click me is better. And in the action part, we're going to simply have an action. There we go. As for the testing stuff, I'm going to simply say print and I'm going to say clicked. That's actually a better way to just test out the few stuff. So there we go. Our button is actually all ready and it says, hey, you forgot to close a string. Yes, I did. My bad. There we go. Should be all happy. Did I miss something up here? Nope. Everything looks good. So there we go. And let's just run this application on our simulator. And we should be able to get the clicked inside the console. So let's just say click, click, click. So we are able to get this clicked up here. Okay, pretty fair, pretty decent. But now I want to do something more with this button. So instead of just printing the click, I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. Now I want to have a toggle here. So how can I have this toggle up here? Let's go absolutely basic and use the simple if and else conditional up here. So there we go. Something is going to happen in the if block and something is going to happen in the else block. What is this something? We are going to compare first and foremost. So we're going to say is upside is actually equals to true. Then we're going to change that. Now again, one more thing. If you're referencing to any variable, you have to mention this self dot. Okay, kind of a syntaxy stuff. So if it is actually true, then we're going to change it to false. So we're going to simply say self dot is update is going to become false. And in the else case, we are going to just do the reverse of this. So we're going to simply say self dot is update is going to become true. So you got the point. We are just checking it. If it is true, make it false. We are basically doing a toggle. So that's what we are doing up here. And this is all good. This is all okay. But what happens if the is upside actually makes a change in its value, true or false? So we can go ahead and come up here and can make some changes based on what is happening. So I can, where is my cursor? There we go. So what we can do here is we can simply use this variable is upside. And based on checking, we can put a question mark to use the ternary operator. So we can put a toggle for this smiley and we can use a colon and we can use another smiley. So in order to put another smiley, control, command and space. And this time I would like to put this smiley. So there we go. Fairly simple application. No problem so far. Let's go ahead and run this. And there we go. And we can see when I click it, it just changes the stuff. Okay. So far we have understood that how state works. State actually re-renders the element which is affected by it. So in this case, this UI element, the text part is being affected by the is upside and it is being re-rendered every time I click the value. So that is, my dear friend, a state. But when does this binding actually kicks in? Now binding actually kicks in when we have to transfer the value of that variable from one view to another view. Let me show you what does that mean. So let's just say this button is actually going on pretty big, so I really don't like it. I want to extract this button into some another place so that I can just call this view and can use my toggle button wherever I like. So I'm going to just select all of this button. I'm going to press a right click on that, or you can press command click as well, whatever you like. I would say show code actions. And in the show code action, I'm going to choose extract subview. I know it's going a little bit above that. I can actually do it again by scrolling it a little bit lower. Again, select all of the button, right click, show code action. There we go. This time all on the screen. I want to use extract subview. So just click on that. And I'm going to say get toggle. So that is the name. So as soon as I do that and hit enter, now things are going to go a little bit with the error-y stuff. It says, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. What is this is upside? I have no absolute idea what you're talking about, because in this view, there is no is upside defined, neither in this entire view. This view is a separate thing. So how do I transfer my exact state, that is the condition of that, into this separate view? In order to do so, we have to use the binding. And this binding is actually pretty powerful, and I'll show you in a minute that what does I mean by how powerful it is. First and foremost, go into this view, and once you are into this view, this button and the body, wherever it is going on, so I have to define this. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to define a binding. How do we do that? Just exactly like state. So binding, and now I can define my variable up here. So I'm going to say is upside, and make sure you name it exactly same. That's also recommended, and that is going to have a type of boolean. Now the bindings don't have a default value. They are just heavily dependent on what you're passing in. So no default value. So you don't need to mention anything in there. You just have to type what type of value you are trying to bind with that particular view. It can be string, boolean, whatever you like. So no big deal in that. So once this is being done, this error is all gone, but we have introduced another error. Let me show you what that is. It's saying, hey, this get toggle should be passing on something, because binding, in that view we have binding, so something is expected there, and you are not passing that thing here. So we need to go ahead and pass that as well. So in order to pass that, it's actually super easy. We can actually take advantage of this one as well, like this is, but it's actually sometimes a little bit hard to understand. All you have to do is pass on this is upside. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. I'm going to say I'm passing a value is upside. The reason why I've written this upside here, because I have declared this upside with the same name, okay? And what is the binding value that we are providing? So in that case, I'll remove this, and I'm saying I want to pass on this upside value. So I have to use a $sign. I'm going to use a $sign, and I'm going to say is upside. There we go. So this is now being passed on. This state, exactly whatever the value is now passed on up here. The error will go away in a second. So there we go. Now, if I just run this application, now despite having two separate views, I was able to kind of interact with both of them. So I can just simply say click me, and there we go, it works. So this is basically the role of state and binding. But let me show you one more thing. This is actually much more cooler than this one. So I can go up here and I can create a new file. So I'm going to say, hey, I need a new file. So I'm going to just simply say new. This is going to be a Swift file. Next, and call it as get toggle.swift, whatever you want to name it. It doesn't really matter. And I want to just simply say, instead of this, I want to have a swiftUI. Now, once I have got the swiftUI, what I can do, I'll just put these two files just right here. So in the content view, oh my goodness, you're too big. In this, I can actually take this entire thing, I can actually cut it so that my main file remains very clean, and I can go on to this get toggle, and I can just paste it up here. So there we go. My entire thing is up here. So now this struct, this get toggle, can be called inside this content view from wherever you like. And it's going to go away in a second. It sometimes need to build also. Command B is the shortcut. You can build it and errors will go away. So there we go. So this keeps our entire stack or entire application a bit shorter. You can place the things here. And not only that, we are still able to connect with them. We are still able to pass on values and variables to them because of this state and binding. So let's just run it one more time so that we can know that after even transferring this thing onto separate file, things are working pretty nicely. So let's just say click me. There we go. It's working absolutely fine. So now it's assignment time. So what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you some assignment. So in this time, what you have to do is you have to use not the smiley, but you have to use the name of the string. So what you're going to do, you're going to use two variable name. The one name is going to be, let's just say summer, and another one is going to be winters. So when somebody clicks on a variable name, click me, the summer is going to turn into winters and winters is going to turn into summer. In case you are advanced coder, I'm going to give you a little bit more on that. I want you to select two flags of your favorite country. It can be India also. So go ahead and choose two flags, and based on this state and binding, exact same concept, you have to toggle the images from the flag, India to USA or USA to India, whatever that is. Your favorite flag is totally acceptable, and make sure you do that. And once you do that, post me up on Instagram at Hitesh Chaudhary Official, a little bit long name, but I would love to know what you are building up and what you are doing. So these two assignments, make sure you do that and reach me up on my Insta as well. That's it for this video, and let's catch up in the next one.